Hello. What's up, guys? Back in the garage again. Trying to figure out how to hold my phone. Smoking a Arturo Fuente cigar. So right now I'm pulling the valves from my cylinder head, and I'm going to see if I can see any visible signs of wear that make it overly obvious that the head is the source of my bad compression. I'll update you guys when I'm done. We're gonna make a video. Gotta keep it lit. Stay lit. Alright. I'm gonna pull these valves now, if we can. So here is cylinder 1, exhaust. Doesn't look too bad. We don't really see any signs of pitting. This one looks a little worse than the other valve I just pulled. Honestly, you could probably just lap these and throw them back in. That's what I'm thinking. They all look a little crispy. They don't look terrible. A little bit of buildup. I don't know if you can see it. A little bit of buildup. Hard to see. A little bit of buildup on the stem itself. A little bit of carbon there. Nothing too crazy though. I have a feeling that if I wanted to, I probably could have richened this motor up a little bit. And if it is in the head, which I still don't know, then, it would have cleared up if I just richened it up and cleaned some of the carbon buildup off the valves. Maybe with some seafoam or something. Oh, okay. So this looks noticeably bad. This one is intake, surprisingly. So you can see quite a bit of pitting, and it looks like there's some pitting on this one, and it looks like there's a lot of carbon buildup. This one looks pretty burnt, honestly, which is interesting because it is an intake valve. To be honest with you, this is my first time ever inspecting a head for burned or otherwise damaged valves, but yeah, this valve looks pretty rough. So on the intake side, interestingly enough, we had an issue. This one looks relatively healthy. So like this one right here, it honestly doesn't look too bad. There's maybe some signs of a little bit of heat damage, very little carbon buildup. This cylinder looks like it was running a little bit rich. So cylinder 2 looks like it was running richer than the other cylinders. So the one on the left in this video, that one has no pitting. It looks relatively healthy, and this one on the right, again, has a lot of pitting, a lot of buildup. So my assumption on this motor, based on what I'm seeing with the valves, is that there's some pitting and some burning on the valves themselves, which would make sense because it's not too bad, I guess, maybe. Which leads me to believe that it just needs to be lapped, maybe, and you could probably send it and be good. I did not check the valve guides themselves, but they look okay. They don't look bad. So again, this is my first time ever looking at a failure like this. So I'm just trying to kind of get an idea of what happened using my brain and not really any common knowledge. But so look to the left of the screen right now and look at that valve. There's black right here. There's black. So that tells me that some carbon got past the intake valve, which means that there might have been leakage. Now, when I said that the exhaust valves didn't look terrible, they didn't, but it looks like the seats had a ton of carbon buildup on them. Tons of carbon buildup. And then some of these seats also had a small amount of pitting. So you can see this one looks kind of damaged, that seat. So I think that you could probably lap these and get away with it. Right here. So this is interesting. If you look, you can see the carbon that got past the valve here. And a lot of carbon got past the valve over on this side as well. So what that tells me is that the motor wasn't getting compression because of the valves, which makes total sense. Bottom end looks great, and I ran it super hot. So now we're going to check to see if it's warped at all. So we'll break out the flat edge, and then we'll see if we can get some feeler gauges under there. Okay, So before this flat level I bought when I was in college, I was building a K24 motor, and then I decided that I liked racing more than building cars, so I sold it all. But I bought this for that motor, and I got it from some Chinese catalog, and it's great. I've had it for years and years and years, obviously, because I'm an old man. But, so what I'm gonna do before I check for flatness is I'm gonna scrape up any residue from the head gasket, from the coolant, and then after that, I can get the flat edge on there and measure for warpage. Checking flatness. There's some residue still left over on this head, but when I scraped it off with a clean, this was clean at one time. When I scraped it off with a clean box cutter blade, it all was flat, so I'm leaving it. But I'll keep that in mind if it does have any, issues. If I do come across any warpage, I'll try to measure and remeasure. When you're checking the cylinder head warpage on a Honda cylinder head, 4-cylinder, factory service manual basically says do that, this, 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 this. So you take a bunch of measurements. If you're able to fit a feeler gauge of a certain thickness under this flat edge for any of those measurements, you know you have head warpage. I hope I don't have head warpage. I think this head just needs lap valves and put it back together, put it on that motor and sell it to someone, hopefully. But we'll see. So let's get it. All right, so this is a Carlisle set of feeler gauges. These are really nice. You can take them apart and clean them and stuff. I got them from Napa. They were a little bit expensive, but I like to treat myself sometimes, even though my car is a flaming turd. Alright, I was not able to fit 2/1000ths into that feeler gauge at all. That measurement was good. Shout out to Alderman Machine. They did a great job with the cylinder head. The car made really good power, even when it was down on power. Alright, now we have a couple more measurements. I'm suspecting it's fine, but we're gonna keep going. I don't know why this is playing for the second time, but okay. I like El Gran Combo de Puerto Rico. Alright, so we could not fit 2/1000ths of a feeler gauge anywhere on this head, even after it was beat to crap. Thank you, Alderman Machine. Again, this is a great cylinder head. I did not get sponsored by them. I paid for everything. Yeah, but it's a good shop. It's a little shop in Delaware. Really reasonable pricing, and they do great work. So I'll probably be using them in the future. All right, and also, so today is Black Friday. Normally I don't buy into that stuff. I don't go out for Black Friday because I think it's stupid. Okay, like I can get stuff cheap, but I don't want to get trampled. Well, with COVID, no one wants to shop in stores as much anymore. Everyone's buying stuff online. I went out and, a lot of my tools are broken because I use my tools aggressively. I really do use every inch of my tools. So, I got these ratcheting Cobalt 90-tooth ratcheting wrenches, SAE and metric 20-piece. This was $50 with tax. This is a Milwaukee full drill bit set. Very expensive normally. They say $45 value. It really is normally like $45 or $30. I got this for $12. Got these 3 Husky vice grip johns for $12. I got Husky stubby and full-size metric and SAE wrenches for, I think, $20. It was cheap. And then this was not really a good deal, but I needed these anyway, and I was at AutoZone, so these are some offset. Oops, whatever. And then I got gloves. So, these gloves alone are worth like $100, right? With COVID. But they were actually $10 a box, which is like a deal nowadays. So that's part 1 of the video, looking at the cylinder head. Part 2, I'm going to be pulling the wheels and all that stuff, and I'll get into that stuff with you guys and show you some tricks with an angle finder so we can get correct suspension geometry and know if we have something bent rather than just throwing parts at it. So stay tuned. I am going to throw that up on YouTube as well.